Hello, it's Dawn Michelle from Boho Tarot, and welcome to my monthly reflections, where we chat about the decks I worked with, the books I read, some of the videos I made, and other things I got up to throughout the month of August. So if you're anything like me, you're probably most excited about checking out all the decks, so let's jump right into the tarot and oracle decks that I worked with all throughout the month of August. So the first pairing I worked with in August was my Dreaming Way Tarot, which is one of my kind of favorite decks. It is a modified trimmed version. And my new Soulflower Oracle, and this is a relatively new deck in my collection. So I really wanted to work with the Soulflower Oracle, and I was thinking about what decks in my collection that I have that might pair with that really well. And I just happened to have the Dreaming Way on hand at the time, and I felt like these two were just kind of made to go together. I'm not really even sure if I can articulate why that is. They just have kind of a similar energy to me, which is funny because I kind of see the Soulflower Oracle as being a little bit more in the summer realm for me, and the Dreaming Way as being a little bit more in the spring realm. However, I found that this particular deck actually works really well all year round. And that's kind of one of the things that I love about it, is I can find things that correlate to each seasonal energy within the deck any time of the year. So this was a really wonderful pairing, and I really enjoyed the way the colors and the messages really worked well together. So here we have Forget Me Not with Awareness between the Ace of Swords and the Nine of Wands. Here we have the Bleeding Heart with Independence between the Knight of Swords and the Eight of Wands. Again, I just felt like there was something really cohesive about the artwork. The kind of art style feels very compatible, even to the point where since I've trimmed my Dreaming Way, it's basically borderless on three sides with just the text down at the bottom. And even that looks the same here in the Soulflowers. And so I felt like those worked really well together. So we have the Bleeding Heart with Independence between the Knight of Swords and the Eight of Wands. Here we have the Purple Poppy with Evolution between the Hanged Man and the Page of Pentacles. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. I don't know what it is about this particular card, but it is definitely one of my favorite Page of Pentacles. I just love the energy of it. And I love how we have this kind of message of evolution between the Hanged Man and the Page of Pentacles. Like, we need to look at things from a different perspective in order to tap into this evolution energy and learn what we need to learn moving forward. I think that's just beautiful. Here we have Crocus with Opening between the Five of Cups and Judgment. Quite beautiful. I do love when I can find, those color themes that run from card to card. So here in this color theme, I'm definitely picking up on the white, the beautiful white here in the flower. We have the white in her shirt, the white in the cups, and then of course the white on the Judgment angels here. Interesting that the flowers and both the shirts are white. I always like to look for little things like that to kind of help me tie in deeper layers and messages. Here we have Iris with Inspiration between the Five of Wands and the Ace of Cups. I love how this iris, the petals kind of look like the water falling down here, and the little leaves kind of going up every which way kind of remind me of the wands over here, kind of going in different directions. I think that's quite beautiful, the way that this particular card and this particular deck really does tie the energy together between the two cards. I found that to be quite potent throughout the whole month. Echinacea for Consciousness between the Ten of Cups and the Queen of Cups. One of the things that I really enjoyed about the Soulflower cards is that the messages are actually on the card themselves. And when I'm doing a pairing like this where I have my oracle focus in the center, sometimes having that text in the center really does kind of help create a base message, a foundational message, and then the tarot expands outward from there. And this deck works really well for that. So here we have the White Pine with Wisdom between the Nine of Swords and the Queen of Wands. I love how we can pull in colors from each of these cards. We have the kind of gray and white in the pine cone here, reminiscent of what's going on over here with the dark background and the white swords and her white dress. And then we also have the kind of black and white reflected here in her crown and her top of her dress, as well as the kind of green in the background with her chair, which I think is quite lovely. So really beautiful pairing this month with the Dreaming Way and the Soulflowers. The Dreaming Way is always one of my favorite decks to work with, but I really enjoyed getting to know the beautiful cards of the Soulflower Oracle. It's one that's been on my wish list for a really long time, and I'm glad to have finally gotten a copy of it, because I was always like, oh, I don't really need it because I have so many other botanical decks. But there's something very sweet and charming and nourishing about this particular artwork. It is stunning as well, but I really do like the keywords and the messages that are on the cards. I feel like they work really well together. And I feel like they really created a wonderful focal point for my readings for the week. And that's really what I'm looking for when it comes to my oracles, when I'm pairing them with my tarot decks for my weekly readings. I'm really looking for the oracle card to kind of create the foundation, that focal point for my reading. And the tarot just expands upon it. And I think that this deck actually does that beautifully. And it just seemed like a really great match for the Dreaming Way. It wasn't one I was really expecting to be such a great match. It was kind of just like I had the Dreaming Way on hand, so I grabbed it. And I really found that they worked absolutely beautifully together. There's something really familiar and special about the artwork in these two decks and the way they flow together. And it was just an absolutely beautiful pairing. So again, that was the Dreaming Way Tarot paired with the Soulflower Oracle. So another pairing that really kind of blew me away this last month was my Inkwitch Tarot, which is new in my collection, and my Moon deck, also another new deck in my collection. So I'd recently done a walkthrough of the Inkwitch Tarot, and it's definitely one that's been a pleasant surprise for me. But at the time that I did the walkthrough, I didn't have the Moon deck, or actually I think I had it, but it just wasn't open yet. And so it wasn't one that I was able to feature in that video, and I just happened to have it. I was getting it out and looking through it for the first time, and it just immediately struck me that this was the deck that I needed to pair with the Inkwitch Tarot. I even ended up edging them in the exact same color, which was just totally coincidence because I did edge them at two totally different times, but it kind of just felt like, to me, they were just meant to work together. And again, I love that we have kind of the message on the front of the cards for the Moon deck, and I did end up kind of pulling out one single keyword as my focal point for my weekly readings with this deck. So here we have, there's medicine in my shadow. So this one, the keyword I would probably pull out would be medicine, and it's between the Six of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. I mean, just look at how beautifully this artwork goes together. I just feel like they were kind of made for each other. And the messages though, right? I mean, it's great when the decks are really cohesive in terms of their artwork, but when the messages really resonate, that's like the really important part, right? That's the main focus. So here we have, I meet resistance with kindness between the Queen of Wands and the Three of Swords. How perfect is that? I love doing these little flip throughs. They are so much fun. Here we have conscious eating nourishes me between the Three of Pentacles and the Emperor. Beautiful. With a steady mind, I am connected to our collective experience between the King of Swords and the Four of Swords. I had a lot of people also point out that this is a cicada, where I guess they go underground and they hibernate for long periods of time before re-emerging. So that totally makes sense, and thank you to everyone who shared that for me. Here we have the rhythm of my breath directs the rhythm of my life. Again, there's just something really cohesive about this whole art styles. We have a definite more limited color palette in the Inkwitch, but the Moon deck has a very similar color palette, but with a few brighter pops of color, which I think just really helps to draw your eye to those focal points, like the mountains behind her and the constellations at her heart chakra here, as well as the stars at her throat chakra. And then we tie that into the High Priestess and the Nine of Swords. I mean, that's just beautiful. I allow stillness to heal and reveal between the Eight of Cups and the Ace of Wands. Gorgeous. Let's just do a couple more flip throughs so you can kind of see how well these decks work together. I really enjoyed this pairing. I really love the Dreaming Way and the Soul Flowers, and that was really wonderful too. But this being that these were both two new decks in my collection, I was so thrilled to find that they worked so beautifully together, because they were definitely two decks that I wanted to get to know. And when I pulled them out and started working with them together, I just knew that was just a perfect combination. They really balance each other out really well, and they make for a beautiful deep reading. I also did several other larger readings with this deck, and I didn't really journal about those or anything, but just readings that I kind of did in the moment to kind of help me in certain situations, and they both worked beautifully for that. In that sense, I used the tarot as the primary reading, and I used the Moon deck as kind of like a takeaway or wrap up message, which is how a lot of people work with their oracle decks, right? They'll do their full tarot reading and then the oracle deck is kind of the takeaway message. I also did that with this pairing as well, and that just worked beautifully as well. So again, this is the Ink Witch Tarot, which I do have a full walkthrough on my channel. I really adore this deck. It's definitely very quickly become one of my favorites. It's very clever. I love the depictions that the artist has included in this deck, and the more I get to know it, the more I understand it, and the more it just kind of clicks right in the moment for what I need. It's a beautiful deck. And I've also really enjoyed getting to know the Moon deck. This is a deck that has been on my wish list for I don't know how long. And I kept just like saying to myself, you know, I don't need it. I have so many decks that are like it and whatnot. But I do find that this deck really is kind of its own little thing. Yes, it does have a similar energy to some of the other kind of divine, feminine, goddess, female empowered decks in my collection. But I don't know if it's because I paired it with the Ink Witch or it just kind of does have its own energy, but it definitely feels like it has a voice of its own. It doesn't feel like it gets lost in the mix of all my other decks that are kind of in this category. And in fact, again, it's another one that I'm like really, really enjoying. And I think that this is a deck because of the way that it's structured. And we have really beautiful messages on the card. There's even more gorgeous detail and messages in the guidebook, which I do really enjoy. However, I didn't find that I really went to the guidebook very often. I found that the messages on the cards were really all that I needed. However, there's lots of additional information in the guidebook and some beautiful things that you can definitely tap into if you wanted to use this in some other ways other than just pairing it with a tarot deck, which I do intend to do at some point. I worked with the Dreaming Way and the Soul Flowers the first couple weeks of the month, and then used the Ink Witch and the Moon deck as my primary reading deck for the last couple of weeks of the month. And it was just an absolute gorgeous pairing, and I really enjoyed working with both of those. So now let's talk about another couple decks that I used throughout the month. I used the Flora Healing cards many times for many different things. I also used the beautiful deck for Wonder Walking. Again, this is another deck that I have a full walkthrough of, and this is the Kai Tarot Love. Actually, I do believe I have walkthroughs of all of these decks on my channel. So every Sunday, I decided to do a kind of self-care reading of something that I needed to remember and to try to work on and tap into throughout the week. And this time I did this reading, and it was set up this particular way, which was inspired by my walkthrough of a deck for Wonder Walking, because as I was creating that video, I was kind of playing with some different ways that I could work with this deck. And I kind of created this layout that just really resonated with me, and I really enjoyed working with it all throughout the month. I did a reading every Sunday, kind of a self-care message to tap into and to keep in mind throughout the whole week. And so how I did this was I used the deck for Wonder Walking here as my focal point. So here we have First Love, and this was my main message to keep in mind throughout the week. And then I used my Flora Healing cards and my Kai Tarot for my expanded message on that. So this was kind of like First Love, what I need to know about it. Funny that we're sitting between the Emperor and Empress. You'd think I had planned that, but I really just split the deck. And then we had the kind of healing message in between. So this was what I wanted to keep in mind, what I wanted to remember in terms of my self-care throughout the week, and a healing message that I could carry with me throughout the week, focusing in on self-care. With the Flora Healing cards, all the messages are on the back. So I would note what plant it was, what the keyword was, and a little bit of guidance from the card itself. So I think there's just something about the way that these decks were created, or the intention with which all these decks were created, that just allowed them to kind of converse with each other seamlessly. And I really loved finding those messages, exploring them, and getting to know them. I worked with the journal and guidebook for the deck for Wonder Walking. When it came to the Kai Tarot, this is a deck that I work with very intuitively most of the time. And so I was really focusing in on those intuitive messages. And then, whoops, got a card upside down. And then with the Flora Healing, of course, you just flip the card over and the message is on the back, which is wonderful. And so there was just something really nurturing, empowering, and supportive about the messages that these decks kind of all create together. And another thing that I really found that kind of drew me about this little pairing here with these three decks, was that they also inspired me throughout the week. So that was really wonderful to have some decks that really sparked my own personal creativity. I have been feeling a little bit creatively stifled the last couple of weeks. And so it was wonderful to tap into some decks that really helped open that up for me, that really helped me channel my own creativity. Not only having this as my self-care message and something to help me remember and to tap into, but to also provide that creative spark was just fantastic. And the way that these decks all work together was just absolutely beautiful. You'll see more how I actually worked with them together to cultivate my message in my actual journaling video. Again, as I mentioned, I do have walkthroughs of all of these decks on my channel. The Kai Tarot Love is one of my favorite intuitive decks. And in fact, I've gotten rid of several of my other intuitive decks because this one just really has artwork that connects to me on a really deep and creative level. I really do love the way the artwork has been created, and I don't know, there's just something about it that just connects. You know, when you have those decks that you can't really verbalize what it is that really draws you to them, but that connection is just there. That is this deck for me. This is a very intuitive deck, and it's one that I absolutely love working with. Again, I do have a full walkthrough of this deck on my channel if you want to check that out. The deck for Wonder Walking is definitely a newer deck in my collection, but it is one that I am really enjoying getting to know. I find that it really does inspire my creativity, and it really does encourage me to kind of pay more attention to what's going on in my world, what I'm doing, things that I'm working on, and it just really works beautifully for that. I also really love the journal, and I've started kind of working with that a little bit as well too. So again, just another beautiful, really creative, very inspiring deck. And then we have the Flora Healing cards, and again, this is a deck that I do have, again, another walkthrough on my channel, but I did also use this deck as inspiration on a daily basis. So I pulled one of these cards every single day, and it became my kind of card of the day, my inspiration piece for my everyday planner journal. So that was really great. I absolutely adore this cardstock. I mentioned that in my cliche tarot readers, I think too, where there's just something wonderful about this cardstock that just makes me want to shuffle it all the time. And so I am so excited to have it. I do hope that Rebecca does more decks because I want like all the decks in that cardstock. It would just be fantastic. Beautiful decks that I really enjoyed working with this month. So we have the Kai Tarot Love, the Flora Healing, and the deck for Wonder Walking. So even though I feel like I say this every single month, I worked with a lot of wonderful decks throughout the month of August. I really feel like as I work through decks, as I kind of hone my collection down, I really am getting to the point where I'm really comfortable with the decks that I have and what I use each one specifically for. Now, of course, I'm always still bringing new decks into my collection because I like to explore new things. I like to try out new decks. And I found that for me in my tarot practice, a lot of the decks that I bring in or have in my collection, they're all here for kind of a season, a reason, or a lifetime. So there was a tag a while back talking about the decks that we bring into our collection for just a short time, a decks that we bring into our collection for a particular reason, or decks that we bring into our collection that we always have in our collection. You know, after so many years, you kind of get a feel for what you like, what works for you. I definitely love being able to check out new decks here on YouTube, and I really enjoy being able to work with them and share how they actually worked out for me each and every month. So now let's talk about the books that I read. So I actually read quite a bit more than I thought I did in August. When I was first kind of putting together my list of things that I worked with and things that I did throughout the month of August, I was like, oh, I'm only going to have 1 or 2 books. That's actually not true, because throughout the month of August, I was actually diving into my natal chart. So I spent a couple of days like just really submersed in astrology and my natal chart, and a couple of books became really kind of foundational for that work for me. The first was The Stars Within You, A Modern Guide to Astrology by Juliana McCarthy. So this book was, I think, really instrumental to me being able to make any sort of sense of my birth chart, because prior to reading this book, I was like, I have no idea what's going on here. Am I an expert at this point? Absolutely not. But I definitely feel like I have a much better grasp of what I'm looking at now when I check out my own birth chart. So I would highly recommend The Stars Within You if this is something that you are interested in. It was really easy to read, and it made the whole process a lot more understandable and a lot more approachable. So another book that I also read is Astrology Made Easy, A Guide to Understanding Your Birth Chart by Yasmin Bolin. Now, I do have to say that I felt like this information after reading The Stars Within You felt a little bit redundant. And that is because it's basically the same information, right? It's just kind of presented in a little bit of a different way. If you are a person who likes bullet lists and you like things broken down into charts and lists, and that layout works for you and that presentation of material works for you, then you might really like Astrology Made Easy. I found that personally I preferred The Stars Within You. While the information is totally the same, I really enjoyed the way that McCarthy approached the material in The Stars Within You. The Astrology Made Easy went over the exact same information, so it really just depends on kind of the writing style that you like and the approach that you like when you are looking at a book for study purposes. I preferred the a little bit more narrative style of The Stars Within You. I felt like it made the information a little bit more approachable, especially when talking about a topic that I was completely unfamiliar with. So another book I read in relation to my astrology work was Tarot and Astrology by Corinne Kenner. Now this book I've had for quite some time because studying tarot and astrology, or I should say studying the astrology within tarot, has always been something that I've wanted to do, and it's definitely something that became much more important as I started going into my Thoth studies over the last couple of weeks. But I also found that it was really helpful when working through my natal chart, because one of the things that I did was to take my tarot deck and to lay out my natal chart in terms of the related tarot cards. And for me, because I understand tarot, because that's a language that I'm familiar with, that really helped me to deep dive into the process of kind of deciphering or decoding my own birth chart and to really understand the energies within it. So it was really helpful for that, and I definitely recommend it as a reference material for astrology and tarot. I know that there's a lot of different associations and there can be some discrepancies between different resources. I am not an expert in any way, shape, or form, but I found that the way that Kenner approached the material was, again, really accessible and made it really easy for me to understand and to see where those correlations lie within the astrology that we find in our tarot deck. So it's definitely a book that I recommend if that's something that you're looking to explore more, or if you're like me and you just wanted to dive into your astrology chart with your tarot deck. That was definitely a fun one, and it was really helpful for that whole process. So I definitely recommend that if that's something that you are interested in. And of course, I am still reading all of my same kind of study books that I've been reading and looking at studying the classic Waite-Smith Tarot, as well as beginning my Thoth studies. I'm still working with all those same books, still using all the same reference materials, and I'm really enjoying that whole process. Hopefully I'll have more to talk about later on when I get a little bit more familiar and feel a little bit more comfortable with the whole process. So now let's talk about video and YouTube-y things. Now, to be perfectly honest, I actually didn't watch a lot of YouTube this month. It was a bit of a hectic month in our household. We had a lot of things going on. Not necessarily all bad, but we did have some minor incidents here and there. And I just didn't have a lot of time to watch a lot of things or to really do a lot of extra stuff. It was really kind of focusing in on things that had to get done. So instead of talking about the videos that I watched, because there really weren't many, I want to talk about a couple of videos that I made in August that I was really excited about. The first being the Celtic Cross collab that I did with Lisa Pepez. That was so much fun. It was so great to see how each of us approached the Celtic Cross and to explore it from my kind of modified point of view and her more traditional point of view. And actually, if I had seen Lisa's video before making my own modified version, I might have actually understood the Celtic Cross a little bit more than I did when I originally started working with that spread, oh, so many years ago. But it was a spread that I really just couldn't connect with. And so I basically modified it to fit my own needs, because let's face it, that's what I do. I modify everything, right? Spreads, decks, books, don't matter. And so it wasn't until I created my own sort of modified version of that it really kind of clicked for me and made sense. And now it's kind of funny because it's a spread I use all the time. Like, it works for all kinds of different things. It's a spread that I am really enjoying working with, and I find that I gain a lot of insight and information from it. And the flexibility and versatility of that spread is pretty amazing. I guess that's probably why it's been around for so long. Another video that was a lot of fun to make was the cliche tarot reader hashtag. I was a little late to the party, but I was so excited to be able to do it. That's such a great tag. It's so much fun. There is a whole slew of videos of people who have done it. And I love when a tag like that can really help bring the community together. That's really wonderful. So again, thank you to Anna at Astral Lady Tarot for creating that for us. And I was happy to share my own cliche things that I do in my tarot practice, which are quite a few. So for my members in August, I also did a couple of really fun videos. I started the month off with talking about my tarot practice in July, so kind of similar to this where I am talking about my reflections, right? Except for in that video, what I did was talk about how my cards actually related to my personal life. And so it was kind of like tarot in real life type of thing. It was really fun to be able to share that side of things, although it definitely gets a bit more personal when you start talking about how your cards and your readings actually play themselves out in your personal life. But it's really fun, and it's really also enlightening for me to look back and see how things evolved throughout the month. I also shared with members how I was working with my tarot cards alongside my natal chart. That was a lot of fun, as well as sharing some new decks that I bought and talking specifically about why I bought them, because I think that's always interesting. We don't always talk about why we buy the things that we buy, and sometimes it's just fun to kind of share like why I bought this and what I'm going to do with it. And then most recently, I talked about my witchy foundations and how I make everyday magic. So it's been a lot of fun to really share the more personal side of my practice with all of my members. If you would like to join in on that, there's a link for my memberships in the description box below for you. So this month we're going to be diving into kind of a cozy autumn theme here on my channel. I have quite a few videos that were kind of inspired by this whole idea of me wanting to get comfy and cozy and really just invite fall. I love fall. It's my favorite season, and I am just so ready for it to be here that I was like, I'm just going to invite that energy into everything that I do. So I created my own little tarot tag along with this kind of theme and idea, which will be coming out here shortly. That's a lot of fun. I hope you'll get a chance to check that out. I also put a little mini collection together of my favorite fall inspired decks. Those are like some of my favorite decks to work with. My fall basket is kind of my favorite basket in my collection, and it includes a lot of wonderful decks that I'm always excited to dive back into every fall. And speaking of the coming fall, I'm also going to be sharing with you my autumn weave spread, which is one of the spreads that I often do around the autumn equinox, so the turn of the fall season. And I'm going to be sharing with you how I do that in case that is something that you would like to try this year as well. And of course, we'll have some of the usual suspects with some walkthroughs, some deck reviews, a deck mod, among other things. I'm super excited about diving into those energies, and it's been so much fun to create content that's kind of in alignment with that energy. So overall, despite some of the busyness here at home, I still had a wonderful month. I really enjoyed the decks that I worked with all throughout August. I got to read some wonderful books and make some really fun videos. But I'm definitely looking forward to tapping into that sort of cozy autumn vibe this month. So that's it for me today. I hope you had a wonderful August, and I wish you many blessings moving into September. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon for more Creative Tarot for an Inspired Life.